Welcome to the Push Ventures podcast, Push Your Advantage, and thanks a lot for tuning in. In our series, we are providing you with thought snippets on the African technology startup ecosystem. Today's topic is local investors versus foreign funds, or as we often refer to them as tourist funds. And we'll be speaking about the advantages and disadvantages of each and what role they play in our ecosystem. This means we'll be talking about firepower and structures of the funds, their network and its benefits to you as an entrepreneur, the know-how and effects on on the ecosystem. Talking about the firepower, I think it's easy to say that if you're looking for the biggest guns in the room, these are usually with the foreign funds. For they have access to much larger pools of capital, and that can come in very handy if you're looking to scale very quickly, not just within your own market, but also geographically. Compare this to a lot of local investors, which are usually much smaller and oftentimes not as strict in fund structures. This in turn allows them to be more patient and willing to take long term views on their investments. However, they often have, because of these limited financial resources, also an unwillingness to overexpose themselves to markets they already have a lot of exposure to, which may put them in a position of just simply being unable to provide the same level of funding that foreign funds can provide and that you as a startup may need to scale. In contrast, foreign funds are oftentimes much more willing and sometimes even mandated to take those risks on innovative disruptive technologies with their money. And they oftentimes are very specialized and focused on particular sectors, which allows them to provide startups with very valuable guidance and expertise by being able to compare similar companies in different markets and their respective experiences, and thus guide you by providing some insights on that perspective. Now, if you're looking at the networks, I would typically say that both have very good and great networks and know a lot of great people that they can introduce you to. However, there are subtle nuances you should consider as an entrepreneur. Local investors know a lot of local people, and that can help with a lot of local challenges, and they are hence more likely to provide support beyond just funding, such as mentorships or access to the networks via introductions, which can go a long way. They also understand the local challenges that at times are not easy to digest for foreign funds. Sometimes foreign funds wonder, why does it take you a certain amount of time to solve something which seemingly is easy to solve? Foreign funds, however, they can utilize their network to raise your profile and attract further investment by putting you on a global stage. And these international networks and markets can help you tremendously as you consider expanding beyond your home market. And when you're looking at the know-how, I'd say that local investors have a better understanding of the market and cultural nuances and a lot of expertise in solving local challenges, which is a great benefit to you. They can help you navigate regulatory and legal hurdles, which can also be beneficial when your product is in a very early stage and you're still working to establish product market fit. Local investors, however, may have a limited experience investing and may not be able to provide the same level of expertise and guidance that specialized foreign funds can provide with your respective business model that I referred to earlier. Oftentimes, this might be paired with a bias towards investing in established industries and a smaller willingness to take on risks on innovative and disruptive technologies, as I pointed out earlier. Foreign funds may have a lack of understanding of regulatory and legal landscapes in Africa, which can create challenges for you because you're seeking to navigate these hurdles, which is often paired with a limited understanding of foreign funds of the local market and cultural nuances, which can, particularly in early stages, hurt you because your investors might get impatient. Highly specialized investors, however, as mentioned earlier, can provide a lot of expertise shaping your value proposition further because they've seen similar models in other markets and oftentimes can just tell you what has worked there and what hasn't. Now, briefly, I'd like to sidetrack and point out a few of the examples of how Push added more value to some of our companies in the portfolio. I remember one of our startups initially required a lot of introductions to more customers to really boost their sales. And here we were very happy to support. We did provide a lot of introductions, which the startup then really chased down, hunted down, and converted to customers. And further, we helped with recruitment or providing legal opinions. And at times, small things such as just finding office space for your company. I also recall one of our companies which was looking at entering the East African market. Here we supported by providing valuable introductions in the respective industry and provided insights on who best to work with locally. Now, one of the reasons why we do these things as well is because we have full skin in the game and we aren't salaried to work with these startups. So essentially, we only get paid if the startup succeeds, which means it is also in our best interest to do our very best to help the startups do so. Now, when we look at the effect that both have on the local market, I would say with foreign funds, it can at times be a quite big effect and it can at times lead to a lot of overvaluation. And that is because if a lot of big funds come in at the same time, they're essentially pushing up prices. And sometimes, if they're too focused on a particular sector, this effect can even increase, which may for you as an entrepreneur look very tempting because someone is willing to pay a nice price tag for your startup, but it can cause you troubles further down the line. So be wary of those effects. Also, a short time horizon can add pressure since our markets aren't as well established and exits not as plentiful. So, if you're a fund and you have to exit your investment after a certain amount of time in order to close your fund, that can create pressure on you as an entrepreneur. Local investors, on the contrary, can act as a stamp of approval and a door opener, since the money is coming from people who understand the market very well and have a local reputation. But bear in mind, that reputation can also at times come with conflicts of interest as they have a foothold and a footprint in your market, which sometimes might not be truly clear or transparent to you, and you should be wary of that. Some foreign funds do at times question smaller ticket sizes of local investors, and those are often also run by fund managers, not owners. And the owners of the local funds, a lot of times, are very involved in the administration and running of their funds, which as an effect means that, as I mentioned earlier, even with us, there's a lot of interest in really truly helping you succeed once they invest in you. One of the things that we have also noticed in the market is that when it comes to middle ticket sizes, at times we experience what I would refer to as a void. For a lot of times, for local investors, they're too large, and for foreign funds, too small, which is a pity. So, if you're one of those middle investors, feel free to give us a shout, and we'll be happy to help you find some attractive investments. Now, as an entrepreneur, what should you ask yourself? One of the things is it just the money, or do you need more help than just the money? And how much would you be willing to pay for some of those value adds that local investors can do? And you can consider this in your negotiations as well, because a lot of those benefits sometimes are, as I mentioned, tremendous. Also, when now looking at kind of your mix of where you raise from perhaps it's great to have a mixture, and that mixture might benefit you most. But do remember to be picky who you let in as investor and feel free to ask even funds how long they're happy to be invested into your company in. Because both investors can add tremendous value to your startup. So be clear about where you are in your journey and what your current needs require. That's it for today, and you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as Push Venture Capital, and on Twitter as Push Your Advantage. And we'll be back next month with another installment on our podcast on the African tech ecosystem. And it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, AfriPods, and of course, YouTube. Thank you very much for listening, and have a good day.